What can you threaten black people with?
Wait, Jamal, what can you threaten black people with? Why is it that you have to talk about that from the pulpit? Threaten black people with? Yep. The only thing that should threaten you is this book right here, the Bible. Sure, Jamal. Continue the BS that you are saying from the pulpit. Just continue.
That we haven't already lived through before. We already couldn't go to your schools.
Okay. No. Let's get down to business of us living for a quick second. You start off with talking about threatening black people with, and then you're talking about all of this stuff. And notice you're saying this from the pulpit, but you're talking about this, but then you're talking about how we already couldn't go to your schools. We already couldn't go to the schools. Jamal, what are you doing? I thought you're a pastor. A pastor's supposed to create unity, and you're trying to create division, not unity. You should be ashamed of yourself. Aren't you the same pastor who said that you were concerned about all of these Negro preachers? You know what? Let's play the clip for a second, then we'll go back to that clip. But let's play the clip of when you said you were concerned about all of these Negro preachers. But I'm concerned about you. Play the clip.
I'm concerned about all of these Negro preachers.
So as you just heard for yourself, that he said that he was concerned. Are you concerned for yourself? It's a rather simple question. Are you concerned for yourself? Or are you only concerned for the Republican Negro preachers? But are you concerned for all Negroes, especially you, who in fact is not teaching the real gospel, but is teaching a social gospel from the pulpit? This is a shame.
Already couldn't live in your neighborhood. We already couldn't shop in your store. We already had to sit in the back of the bus. We already filled out your jail. We already had our zip codes redlined. I feel bad for them coons in the White House who are in there tap dancing for massa.
Oh, we're gonna get all in today on Jamal Byrant, my friends. Be ready, because you're going to hear something. You're going to hear these truths that I'm about to lay out, and you won't be able to unhear what I have to say about Jamal Byrant, a false pastor. So before we get into my intake, before we get into my analysis of all these videos, and I'll show you a bunch more, but of my analysis of Jamal Byrant from the pulpit, of how he preaches, let's go to what the Bible has to say. Because he loves to defend the Democrat Party, but he can't defend the Bible, the same thing that he claims to preach from every Sunday. But let's read what the text says about him. Let's read what it says. We'll read two verses. 2 Corinthians 11, verse 13. Verse through 21. Let's read. For such men are false prophets, deceitful workers, disguising themselves as apostles of Christ. I'll read that again. Such men are false apostles, deceitful workers, disguising them as apostles of Christ. No wonder if even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. Therefore, it is not surprising if his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness, whose end will be according to their deeds. It says, according to their deeds. Since the Prince of Darkness masquerades as a Prince of Light that is deceptively disguised as a messenger of the truth of God, it is not surprising that his emissaries do it as well. Satan deceived Eve in the Garden of Eden and holds unbelievers captive. His emissaries were attempting to deceive and enslave the Corinthians. Paul, this is a letter from Paul. He's writing to the Corinthians, talking about how Satan's emissaries are trying to deceive and enslave the Corinthians. The terrifying end that the Bible talks about, of where these servants of righteousness will face, these false servants of righteousness they will face, is God's judgment, the fate of all false teachers. Now, next verse 16. Again, I say, let no one think me foolish, but if you do receive me not even as foolish, so I also may boast a little. What I'm saying, I am not saying as the Lord would, but as in foolishness, in this confidence of boasting. Since many boast according to the flesh, I will boast also. For you being so wise, tolerate the foolish gladly. For you tolerate if anyone enslaves you, anyone devours you, anyone takes advantage of you, anyone exalts himself, and anyone hits you in the face. To my shame, I must say that we have been weak by comparison. That's one verse. Let's go on to another verse, everybody. 2 Timothy 6. We'll go to 2 Timothy 6. I need to find the verse, everybody. Oh, man. Okay. Found it. 1 Timothy 6, verse 3 says, and pay attention, you might get it. If anyone advocates a different doctrine and does not agree with sound words, those of our Lord Jesus Christ, with the doctrine conforming to godliness, he is conceited and understands nothing. Well, he has a morbid interest in controversial questions and disputes about words, out of which arise envy, strife, abusive language, evil suspicions, and constant friction between men of depraved mind and deprived of the truth, who suppose that godliness is a means of gain. Now, the text is rather clear on what it says. In fact, if you take out a notebook and you write Jamal Byrant, you want to write about him, just write everything the Bible just said about him. Write it on paper, because that's the truth. That man, he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Let me tell you something. A pastor does not come up to the pulpit and talk about how you are concerned about Negro preachers who are talking about Charlie Kirk and having moments of silence, and then calls black churches. What is a black church? In fact, there is no such thing as a black church, because race is a social construct. In fact, it's only a church. A church. There's not such thing as a black church or white church saying, oh, that's a black church. Oh, I'm gonna go there. Because, in fact, the term is a psychological and philosophical term, because it means the congregation of people with dark skin. But the text is clear on Jamal being a false pastor. He's being a false pastor, a false servant. Now, you might not understand what I'm saying, so let me play to you again the full clip of Jamal saying we already couldn't go to your schools, and then let's watch the full clip of, then I'll talk about that, and then I'll show you another clip of how he talked about the MAGA Republicans, and he called them coons. Yup, you heard that right. He called them COONS for being at the White House with President Donald Trump. What a shame. Watch this.
Can you threaten black people with that we haven't already lived through before? We already couldn't go to your schools. We already couldn't live in your neighborhood. We already couldn't shop in your store. We already had to sit in the back of the bus. We already filled out your jail. We already had our zip codes redlined. We already had our votes suppressed. We already had our families separated. We already had our men profiled. We already had our women objectified. What you think you gonna do new that's gonna be able to intimidate us? Black people got soundtrack music. Yea, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil. It is their master plan to make you live in fear so you don't fight back, so you don't lift up your voice, so you don't kick against the prick. Fear is the only weapon that white supremacy has.
I know that y'all just saw that. I know every last one of you who just saw that video, man. You guys could be infuriated at that man. Man, he's real sick. Man, that pastor is sick, man. Oh man. Is this the pastors we have today? Man. You want to talk about who's coons? I think we got one right here. Oh my gosh. Jamal, what are you saying, Jamal? Jamal, what are we doing, brother? What are we doing, man? This is not the civil rights movement, man. Why are you going back to when we had to fight for freedom, man? Why are you talking about us having our zip codes redlined? We had to sit in the back of the bus. We couldn't go to your schools, man. We have our own soundtrack music. So our own soundtrack music? Man, what? Man, what are you saying, man? What is this junk you are spitting? My gosh, man. Yo, can I just ask you a question, man? Man, who taught you to preach, man? You preach like a punk. That's what you are, man. You're a punk. What are you doing, my brother? Oh, brother, what are you doing, man? This is bad preaching, man. This is not good preaching, man. Why is this about race, man? You know what? You know, everybody, I want you to take a look at a interview. You know what? Not an interview. I want you to take a look at a video that my great friend John Amachuka, he made. He recorded about an interview. And I want you to see how, if he defends the Bible, since he loves to defend the Democrat Party. Watch.
Those of y'all who are from the suburbs, those of y'all that come from a gated community, those of you who live out yonder, you ain't gonna understand this example. But when I used to live with my grandmother in the projects of New York.
The projects of New York? Jamal Bryant, aren't you the same one who has many baby mamas? Aren't you many baby mamas? Are you talking about the projects? Aren't many of the kids your kids that you have from the projects? Continue with the bold that you have to say.
Y'all ain't saying nothing. I discovered something that roaches only start running when you turn the lights on. As long as the lights are out, they gonna be comfortable eating your cereal. Y'all ain't saying nothing, climbing in your cupboard. But when you turn the light on, all of the roaches gotta start moving. I came to give a warning. Elon Musk, the light is getting ready to come on. Donald Trump, the light is getting ready to come on. J.D. Vance, the light is getting ready to come on. MAGA, the light is getting ready to come on. Welcome, because the roaches will check in, but they won't check out. The lights are coming on.
First and foremost, this video is beyond a shame. This video right here of Jamal Bryant, it is beyond a shame. He's calling Republicans. First, look at this kid. He's in a Pink Panther suit. We see the Black Pink Panther. What is this? He from a Sunday morning? He's calling Republicans roaches on a Sunday morning in a pink suit. Jamal, what are you doing? And now Jamal had an interview, right? And he invited, these like all of that speaking of like, what is that, man? You don't have to do that from the pulpit. You have all of that to say. You have all of that to say, Jamal, about the Republican Party, but are you going to talk about the Democrat Party? Then you asked a question about, you interviewed this butterfly on your show. it seems like this person you brought on your show was rooting for the other team. I'm trying to be nice here, but I feel like the person you interviewed was trying to feel like the person is trying to come out of the closet, if you know what I mean. But you bring him on your show, Jamal. Jamal, let's see if you defend the Bible, since you love to defend the Democrat Party. Watch.
Which are you confronted with first? And I hope I'm wording it correctly.
Yeah.
Being black or being same gender
I
life?
reject the premise of the question.
Okay, reject.
I think even the positing of the question reinforces all of the worst parts of whiteness. Because if you are a white man, you never have to choose.
Ooh.
You're always in a position of power.
Ooh.
The further away you move from being a white man and
So Jamal, are you going to say anything about it? Jamal, are you going to defend the Bible after the object that you bring on your show? Basically, you ask the person, how is it that you can be black and same gender from the lines? And the person you interviewed said that they're going to reject the premises of the question. Then they go on to whiteness, but you won't defend the Bible, Jamal. But notice how from the pulpit you always want to talk about the Democrat Party, Jamal. You always want to talk about, in your sermon, you want to talk about how you're concerned about all of these Negro preachers who are basically having moments of silence for Charlie Kirk, who was in fact killed for defending the Bible. But you have nothing to say to your interviewee, Jamal. You have nothing to say. Listen, Jamal. You have nothing to say, Jamal. Why is that? Why is it that you have nothing to say to when he says that? But if he talks about the Democrat Party, you have something. I mean, if he says something about the Republican Party, like in a good way, you would speak against it. In fact, you should be ashamed of yourself, Jamal. You should be ashamed. So Jamal Bryant, what are you going to do? I think you need some teaching about the Democrat Party. You know, I happened to meet this wonderful man. His book is full of truth. He wrote a book in 2023, and his book is full of truth. It's called, I'll show you this book right here. Look what this is. It's by Mark R. Levin. The book is called The Democrat Party Hates America. Keep the emphasis on the word hates. Right, friends? So, I want to read to you just the first chapter. Not even the first chapter. But just the first chapter is called Democrat Party and Authoritism. I want to read just the first line for you. It says, this book is not intended to be provocative, but in the Democrat Party centric parts of our society, it undoubtedly will be. That said, it is not written for Democrat Party officials, politicians, media, significant activists, and surrogates. It is written for those patriot Americans who fear for our country and its future. America, hear this, America is unraveling. Our founding and history are under assault. Our families and faith are being degraded. Individualism has been substitute for groupism. Color blindness is now racist. Capitalism and prosperity are being devoured by economic socialism and climate change fascism. Classrooms have become indoctrination mills for racism, segregation, bigotry, and sexual perversion. And teacher unions are hostile to parental involvement. In America, free speech and academic freedom are shrinking, and the police state is growing as is monitoring and spying on citizens. The government is banning and regulating more and more household practices. Crime is out of control on our streets, public transportation, and schools, while police budgets are slashed. And many prosecutors and judges coddle violent criminals. Our borders are wide open to millions of foreigners who seek entry into the country as drug and criminal cartels ship killer drugs. And the list goes on. Hear this. The Democrat Party is responsible for most of this. and much more. It seeks to permanently control our governmental institutions just as it dominates our cultural entities. From the media to academia, from entertainment to science, it seeks to delegitimate and excavate the Constitution, including the Bill of Rights, the Electoral College, the Supreme Court, separation of powers, etc., which obstructs its ideological designs. It abuses the rule of law by targeting its political opponents for harassment, investigation, and prosecution. In the end, it seeks to imprison them. Now that's just the first page of this book. Now, I fully recommend that you buy this book for yourself and read it because it's really important to read. Let's get back to my point. So we are seeing here that the Democrat Party is to blame for a lot of its things that it has done, right? So we clearly see that the Democrat Party is to blame. So why is it that Jamal Byrant always wants to defend the Democrat Party? Right? You have nothing to say, Jamal, but you have to say this right here. Take a look at this.
Some of the people were holding on to Pharaoh. God help me in here. I'm concerned about all of these Negro preachers.
You're concerned about all of these Negro preachers? Doesn't involve you? Doesn't involve you, Jamal? I mean, Negro preachers today, many Negroes preachers, such as myself, we are good Negroes, right? But we need rebellious Negroes, don't we? Many of the Negro preachers, such as myself, we preach the Bible. You know what you preach? You preach the Democrat Party that has robbed black people for the last 100 years. In fact, you know, I just want to show a clip. It's not even related to Jamal Byrant. It's just another clip. I just want to show it to you. Take a look at this.
This organization in the history of the world. Since their inception in 1800, they've been the party of slavery. Then, after slavery, they became the party of the Confederacy. After that, they started killing black people during Jim Crow era. You're voting for a party that tells you they are going to abort children up to the 9th month, castrate little boys, and call them little girls, mutilate little girls and cut off their breasts and give them puberty blockers. And you don't think you're going to be held responsible? As we look at the Democratic Party and the chaos that they've reigned on our community, our young men, our young women, I have to ask you to look at what they've done to us. Look at what they've done to us. Look at what they've done to us. The Democratic Party is a death machine. Whatever they rule, they destroy. That's what they do. They destroy. They decided to try to infiltrate the black community, and they didn't have any success until they met somebody. Who did they meet? Martin Luther King. And this is where we went wrong. He made sure that he brought the black vote to the Democrat Party. They used the black vote to commandeer the most powerful country in the world. He who the Son has freed is free indeed. Once you accept him, you are free. Anybody in the Democratic Party that tells you any different, he's a liar, he's an apostate, he's the front to God, and he should be rejected by any Christian walking on this earth. And he's inviting you to go to hell with him. Don't go with him.
Exactly, and exactly. The Democrat Party is a death machine. So it angers me to see Negroes, especially Negroes, support and advocate for the same party that wants to kill black people and kill the Negro population, who wants to destroy the Negro population as a whole. Any Negro who is, man, I'm getting riled up because I despise despise Negroes. I despise the idea that some Negroes are with the same party that wants to kill us. Who supported Margaret Sanger, who said she wanted to exterminate the Negro population and is killing Negroes slowly but surely. Now, let's continue the rest of this Jamal Byrant video. Take a look.
Been in fact talking about that this man that was killed was the answer to Christ in the earth. Y'all ain't saying nothing. They having moments of silence in black churches all over the country over a man that was racist and a white supremacist. How dare you compare him to Martin Luther King? The only thing that Charlie Crist and Martin Luther King got in common is both of them was killed by a white man. After that, they got nothing else in common.
Jamal, that's strange, Jamal. It's strange. Jamal, listen. The gospel you're preaching, it's not the gospel. It is something entirely besides the gospel. The thing you're preaching, it is not the gospel. You are preaching something that I've never imagined. As a pastor, I've never seen such a pastor blaspheme the name of God. And who, listen, I talk about social issues, but I do not make it entirely from the pulpit and talk about Negroes and use race into it. Listen, Jamal, your preaching is bad. Jamal, listen, Jamal, you need some help, Jamal. You need some real help.
I am saved. I love God. I try to be nice. I stay in my corner.
Okay, that's good so far. Okay.
But don't think I won't flip these desks over.
Okay. Showing that you won't be messed with. Okay, Jamal, are you going good?
Don't think if you come at me sideways, I'm gonna come back the other way. Yes, I'm a Christian, but I'm from the south side of heaven.
You were going good, Jamal. You were going good. But the second you talk about the south side of heaven, it's over for you, bro. It's just over. Let me give you a quick history lesson for a second. The south side of heaven. The south side of heaven is hell. So, you're telling your congregation that you're from hell and no one can mess with you? I think I'll mess with you somewhere else, if you know what I mean, but we won't get to that. But Jamal, you went wrong. Like, before you were good, man, but after you mentioned south side of heaven, you're done, bro. No.
I can speak in tongues and I'll cuss you out.
Wait, Jamal, you're gonna cuss? Aren't you a pastor? Did you just say you're gonna cuss from the pulpit if somebody forces you to? What is
You need to know I can nut if you want to buck. I'm trying to play it the long way, but please know I'm tired.
Yo, Jamal, I'm tired of you. You wanna know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of you. Jamal, can you even say what the Bible actually says? Can you say truth? Well, you know, Jamal, a pastor's supposed to have three things. A backbone, a jawbone, and a spine bone. A backbone to stand up, a jawbone so you can speak up, and a spine bone so you can stay up. That's what a pastor needs, and you have none. You don't even have one. So Jamal, I hope that, even though Jamal, that you will never see this, I want to show my people that this analysis, this pastor, you need to stay away from this man. This man's not a good man, right? You would not want this man at all. I do not like this man at all. So beware of wolves, and when there is wolves, run away from wolves. I have a book out. It just released last week Friday. It's on the public school system. It's called It's Not Normal: How Leftists Hijacked the Public School System. It's a very good book for you to read. If you're interested in buying, it is $37. If you're interested in buying, please send me an email. Or if you know me personally, please talk to me, and I will give you the link to buy. And it's a really good book to read. And just thank you so much for joining today. God bless you. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I fast or am I slow? Let me know what you think in the comments section. God bless you, and God bless America.